Thank you so much for being here, Holly Darawa, to talk about the current exhibit.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Can you talk a bit more about what the Adornment exhibit is all about?
So, adornment is kind of a celebration of all of a good part of our clothing collection here at the Lloyd Museum and Archives. So, everything that you see in it is from our own collection and brought to you by donors here in Woodminster over the years. And it's kind of an exploration of what clothing means to us. So, at its most basic, clothing provides a way to protect us from the elements. That's why we all wear clothes. But beyond that, clothing also is a communicative device. So it communicates to others what we value, our status, whether it's perceived or real or aspiring. And clothing is also a way that we partake sometimes in trends and that kind of thing. And trends can come from external forces like celebrities. In history, they've also come from social movements and political movements, or like times of war when certain materials have been scarcer. So there's all different things that kind of play into what we wear, and it's kind of an exploration of that.
Clothes that are currently in the exhibit, how do you think that they tell the story of the people they once belonged to?
They tell the stories of people's sizes for sure. So there's dresses that are bigger, there's dresses that are so small, but made for adults that we had trouble getting them on the mannequins. There are dresses that are actually not from Westminster whatsoever. They're from Boston or Newfoundland and express this kind of idea of people that have come here from away. So people that have moved to Lloyd, which is still something that happens to this day. We get a lot of people immigrating from other countries or other parts of Canada for jobs. So there's that aspect brought into there. There's aspects of what was popular or trendy at the time. So you can kind of see the progression of, we've got a white wedding dress from the 30s, but we've also got a pink wedding dress and a brown wedding dress from the late 19th century. So things that aren't as standard today. And we talk about how that's progressed away from colors and why that change happened. We've got some wool clothes and some wool or some fur coats. So the functions of winter and why that's changed away to more kind of synthetic materials, and a little different fashionably perhaps, compared to what your grandma or great grandma may have worn, than what you wear in the winter. So it's all kind of different aspects of how we get around and how we dress. So
So, what is the earliest dated piece that is in this exhibit?
the earliest piece is a dress from, it's dated to about the 1860s, and it's from Newfoundland. And it's kind of interesting because it shows that the wearer, the maker, may not have had great access to materials. It's made up about 5 different materials inside. So the outside looks like it's all the same material. But when you start lifting up the skirt and looking at the hems and the cuffs, you'll see that it's kind of scrabbled together from a couple of different pieces. So it's really neat. And I think it's from the 1860s.
How much research did it take to bring this exhibit to life at the museum?
It took a decent amount of research. It took 2 of us, I think, a couple months to pull this one together. First, we had to do all the work on our own pieces ourselves, because that hadn't been done. That was kind of in our backlog. So we got through all of our collections, our costume collections ourselves. And then we had to do the research on external forces that play a role in how we dress and that sort of thing. So it took a couple months for us to bring this one together. It was originally meant to go on display in the pre-pandemic time, and it's been put on hold, and we're quite happy to have it here at our new sites.
Do you have a favorite piece in the exhibit?
I have a very favorite piece. It's maybe not one of the most like spectacular, fancy looking pieces, but I have a very special connection. There's a kind of young girl's Halloween costume in there. It's a little Dutch outfit that I think her mom made for her, and you can tell that it's cobbled together on the inside from like adult pieces. So the vest has been taken in, that kind of thing. You can see those pieces on the inside of the garments, or at least I could when I was doing the work on them. And then you could also tell that mom made some of the rest of the pieces. So I think it's a really sweet little costume.
Thank you so much again for answering all my questions and talking to me about the exhibit.
Thank you, Sarah.